Problem 2-87. In section 2.1, you learn how to create dot plots, bar graphs, histograms, and stem and leaf plots. Which of these representations would best display the data given below? Use that representation to display the data. So the data we're given is both sizes of the math marching team. So we are supposed to come up with the best display of data. So we have choices from dot plots, bar graphs, histograms, and stem and leaf plots. So I want to review what each one does, and then you will decide which one you want to use. So I'm going to review what a dot plot is first. So we have a number line. So this is just a sketch. So in my number line, I'm going to be recording with equal distance the number. So the lowest number I have is 8. So let's say this is 8. And then this will be the 9 and on. So equal pieces between the sizes. And then I'm going to count how many I have. So starting with the 8. So I have, let me use a highlighter. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So if we have 5 sizes that are size 8, I'm going to go up like that. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So 5 dots. And notice that vertically I'm skipping equal spaces, okay? So that will be, it's called frequency. So how many times do you see it? So you would do the same thing for the other numbers. So that's what would dot plot look like. Okay, bar graph. So for a bar graph, I'm going to draw both horizontal and vertical number lines. And I'm going to have like what sizes I'm counting. So I'm going to say from here to here, it will be size 8. So, and then with spacing, so I'm going to skip a space and I'm going to go from here to here will be size 9 and so on. So when I'm counting and representing size 8 has 5, I'm going to go, let me use the highlighter. So I'm going to highlight 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 squares above it. So that will be considered a bar graph for the 8. So the vertical number line, it will be also frequencies. In this case will be the students, the number of students. So we want to label that as well. So always label. So this will be both sizes. And this will be number of students. And that will be similar with histogram. So if I was drawing it, so I'm not finishing all of them. I'm giving you ideas for you to decide which one will be the best choice. So for the histogram, it's similar to bar graph when you start with the labeling and everything. Actually, the labeling on the bottom is, there's no spacing. So for example, if I say the size for 8, or we could use like a range almost. So 8 through 9 will be above here. So let me just make and then they're going to be next to each other. Okay, so from here to here. Then from 10 to 11. And then I have from 11 to 12. And I can space it out a little bit. Let me make it a little larger. So I'm just going to space it out so I can write better. So the important part is you create a range. So between 8 and 9 will be from here to here. And then you can repeat the 9. So I'm going to say from 10 to 11. So the next range will be, from 10 to 11. So make that like in red in terms of length. So they're stuck next to each other. So that's the big difference with the bar graph. And then I do need another range because I have the number 12. So I'm going to go 12 to 13, even though we don't have 13. but the counting will be equal. So it will be from here to here. And we record on the right side. For example, if I had, well, the 9 will be recorded here, but 10 will go to the right side. And then you would count. So definitely you would have to count both 8 and 9 together, and you would draw the height. So I haven't counted my 9s because I wanted you guys to do that later, but let me see how many we have. So 1, 2, so 3 9s and 5 of the 8s, right? So it's gonna be, altogether you have to go higher, right? So you decide how many if you'd like to go with a histogram. Personally, to me it's confusing because it gives us a range. So I'm like, well, if I really wanted to see how many, these are kind of mixed together, so I might not be able to do it. And again, I didn't finish it. You're gonna decide how high you're gonna go by combining them. And then the last one, stem and leaf. So the stem and leaf was you create the stem. So let's see, you separate numbers. So I'm gonna draw that line to separate the digits. So I'm gonna, we have single digits, so I have to put a 0 for the place of the tens. And then we had 5 8s, so I have to repeat them for the single digits. And then I also have to record the 9s, how many they have. And then for the 2-digit numbers, you have a 1/10, and then record how many tens you have. So do that, and then the 11s and the 12s. So it's gonna look confusing also. So I definitely, based on the data, going back to the prompt, which would be the best way to display data. So this is confusing because it ranges them, and then it doesn't give you exactly. You have to like be careful what to do when you are reading the data. This is gonna be also confusing, I think. So your best choice is dot plot or bar graph. So go ahead and pick the one you want and finish your problem on your paper.